And hello there! We might finally have this stream working. Hello there, everybody. Sorry I'm late to my own party. I'm sure the chat will be loading in a second. Just before we get into today's stream, hello there. We've got a few new... I've positioned the light horribly now. We've got a few new subscribers to welcome. Hello there, David, Richard, Paul, Alex, Wout, Adriano, and Monday, most recent, 2 hours ago. All right, let's see what you've all been saying in chat. Today, we will be taking a look at not only some of the 4+ sets. I do have Tenoo Temple, this Firehawk here, and also we may be, I can't make any promises, but we may be building the brand new Mando N1 as well. Look at that, the countdown, and I was, what, 15 minutes late almost. Hello there. We've got, hello there, Kelly, and hello there, the Lego Man. Live is starting right now, and we will be building this very shortly. There are a few different, there's not really any leaks since we last streamed. If you did miss out, we are streaming every single Saturday this year. We've only missed one so far, and I'm not planning to make that mistake again. It wasn't a mistake, I had a party, so we can excuse that one. We will be building first the Tenoo Temple, which is a set I have already owned, and then we'll probably split it up with a few leaks. There has been a few, no new information for LEGO Star Wars leaks, but hello there, CT Productions over on Twitch. We stream on YouTube and Twitch, by the way, if you weren't aware. There's not been any new Star Wars leaks, but there have been some roundups, and there's a lot of information for leaks, so we are just trying to pack it into between building each set. Midi-scale Venator is looking nice. That is good to hear. All right, let's bring up the reason this stream was late, the desk cam. It really wasn't working. I'm going to need digital instructions for this because I have not kept my instructions. I built this set pretty much when it came out. I walked into a Smith's day one and got like a third off this set. You can't say no to that. Have I seen the Lego Pokemon video collab? I have. I've done a few shorts on it already. In fact, I must have returned Pikachu and Bulbasaur. I did show off a little Mega Bloks Pikachu and Bulbasaur that we got at a Smith's event last year. And I must say, as a non-Pokemon fan, I'm really excited. I want to talk about that this stream. It's probably going to be a lot about Pokemon with not a lot of Star Wars news, but there will be Star Wars, fear not. But with the new Pokemon theme coming out, and we've seen Hasbro hand over some licenses. It almost feels like Hasbro are handing over licenses to Lego in Transformers. We've seen a lot of Transformers Lego sets recently. We've seen Pokemon. We've seen Peppa Pig, I think, is owned by Hasbro somewhere up the hierarchy. And there are a ton of other themes that Hasbro and Lego now have in common. I think Mattel has like Hot Wheels, so chances are they're going to dominate when it comes to race cars, speed champions, because Hot Wheels themselves are pretty cool. We already have the minifigures built because I've nabbed them off my display. We have Kai Brightstar, Liz Soleil, I think I'm getting them right, and also a Grandmaster Yoda. Beginning to think I was not going to stream. As long as I can help it, I'm always streaming. If there's a stream scheduled, I'll be streaming something. I could even just go live and stream the Lego Skywalker Saga if the desk cam doesn't get to work in. Right, Kai Brightstar. By the way, I realised a big issue with, originally I was going to stream and talk a little bit about Young Jedi Adventures, and we'll be getting to a new animated Star Wars show as well in this stream. I don't think I can wait too long for that, but we don't actually have Young Jedi Adventures yet. It comes out in, well, part 2 of season 2. Season 2 has been split. Part 1 is out, and I haven't actually caught up on that either. But part 2 comes out, I believe, in a few different hours. Hopefully the stream seems to be healthy, so hopefully the lag will go away. But Young Jedi Adventures isn't even out yet, which I really did not think too much on. I think Liz Soleil has a golden lightsaber hilt. So we'll have to talk about that at another time. But yes, we are getting a new animated show. There was a little bit of teasing done at D23 last year for a new Lego Star Wars animated show. And I wonder where they're going to take it, because we've got Young Jedi Adventures in terms of, hopefully they continue Young Jedi Adventures. It is pretty fun. For the High Republic, we could get an Old Republic show. However, there is rumours because of the people, Liz Slay was the next minifigure to build because of the people involved. I can't remember her name, but Hera's voice actor was involved with the announcement at D23. I was just leading the panel for animation, which does make sense. There's been a lot of speculation that there's going to be a new Hera and Omega show. I think that could be pretty good following them, but I think we all need to, thinking about joining the members, access to the Discord. We've been talking a bit on there recently, and I wonder if we will get a new animation not following the Clone Troopers. I got it in my head that the next animation that was going to be announced and is going to be announced is a Clone Troopers show. What happens to Rex? What happens to all the gang after we see them in the Bad Batch? Because Bad Batch really got the gang back together to do nothing with them. We haven't seen anything so far. And when we get onto the Firehawk, I would like to show you how these instructions are laid out, because I get it's a 4+ set and it is quite handy, but it's an odd way. When you're not using the app, when you're using the app, this is how all the instructions are. But when you're not using the app, it is a bit odd to be following along this way. All right, we've almost built the speeder here. Hello there, the Lego man. I am great relax, as we say here on stream. Never going to live that one down. How are you all doing in chat? Anyone building along different Lego sets? Anyone building Lego sets alongside this build here? This is only Tenoo Temple, so I feel like we'll have this one done quick, and then we can crack open the Crimson Firehawk here, which finally gets us a Nubs minifigure. I might have my Nubs just back here. I have a ton of different minifigures that I've still got to put away on my display. This is the Nubs that we have been working with for the last year and a half. It came out, when did this set come out? January 2024. This is the Nubs we've been working with for the last 2 years. I didn't realize this set was so old. That has been coming. I guess Young Jedi Adventures came out a few years ago, so it has been out for quite a while now. We also get a brand new speeder, which is very different to this red one we've got here, which I'm surprised they didn't just go for a simple recolor. This set didn't come out too long afterwards, but Lego Sonic the Hedgehog Sonic's Campfire Clash on Sunday. I've been tempted to pick up that one because it comes with, well, the robot. What are they called? It's not a Badnik, it's the other one. It might be also a Badnik, but yeah, if you try to refresh the stream, it should run smoothly. No video about a new Clone Trooper show called Last Clone. Oh, that'll be interesting. But Campfire Clash, I was going to pick it up for the robot that looks like Omega, and I did a short, and I think I've still got the robot somewhere in my minifigure display at the top. But I picked up Sonic. I can't remember what set I picked up Sonic in. And I'm just happy to have a Sonic figure. I think the headpiece, the head mold for the new Sonic Campfire Clash is a little different to the one that I picked up all that time ago. There we go. I think we've got the speeder built already. Quite a simple build. As long as, you know, some of the Endor speeders, you can see it's a few minifigures long, a lot longer than it probably should be. And there's also a clip on the back so that when Liz Slay with the MIDI legs, so we've got the legs that actually bend. We need this on more characters, especially Lilo and Stitch. A lot of people have been saying Lilo should have had these legs, which I think makes a lot of sense compared to Stitch, who we will piece together. You know what? Because we're getting a Nubs actual minifigure, I think we can go ahead and put Stitch back on their rightful body, because I've used the torso and legs for this little Stitch onesie for a minifigure that used to be in the city, I believe. So we can part Stitch together. I'll sort out the hands later. But there we go, we have finally got a Stitch minifigure and a spare Jedi torso if we want to add another Jedi figure to this. Stitch can stand just off, maybe not behind the blaster. Let's not do that to Stitch. All right, that's the first of 3 Lego instruction manuals for this build. But I saw in chat about a Last Clone show following Rex. I think Rex, it makes sense to follow because along the way, we know we end up with Rex, with Gregor, and with Wolf. So the 3 of those, maybe we could get shows on them individually, and then they all meet up. But it makes sense to pick one, and out of all the 3, to pick Captain Rex. And it's almost definitely waiting some time because of, like we've said already, Filoni is working on Ahsoka Season 2 and his giant Mandoverse movie. So we're probably waiting on Filoni to get ready to direct this show, to probably write this show, to do something with the show, because I don't see Star Wars moving forward with the clones without including, not necessarily Filoni, perhaps there will be some clone projects that don't involve him, but without including someone that worked on Clone Wars to some aspect. Oh, we're missing a piece. Hopefully this is the only piece we're missing. Thankfully, I can go back to my brand new 3D printed drawer displays and grab the missing 2x2 that we are needing. If we did get a clone show, I wonder how they'd go about it. Obviously it'd be animated. I don't see even Star Wars stepping away from that. It was nice to see Rex in the Ahsoka show in live action, but now we've seen that, it would probably be the next animation. We've got the one with Hera and Omega. We've also got the Young Jedi Adventures Season 3, possibly to be announced, because that show seems to be doing well, not only with itself, but also in terms of merchandise. We've got 2 Lego sets here for Young Jedi Adventures. We've got nothing on the Acolyte or nothing on the books even. We haven't even got a Lego set on the books. A fan show called Tuck Tales. Yes, Tuck Tales is really good. I've seen that. The animation for that does seem really, really cool. As far as memberships go, because I said this a second ago, memberships get you access to the Discord. Right now there is a pause on instructions because Studio is playing up and we're unable to actually get any instructions out on Studio, which, you know, isn't the best, but we'll do with it what we can, and hopefully they'll be back up soon. There's a few other chats as well. New magazines come out and new releases we talk over there. Not like Reddit where you get images of everything, just, you know, a friendly discussion which goes further than the comments. Another missing element. It's a good thing I've organised these drops recently. So if you would like to see a CT, if you would like to become a member and gain access to the Discord, it's not just one way like the videos and the shorts. It's a bit more conversational, not only with me, but also with everyone else that is a member. Or you can just support the channel. You don't have to join the membership there. You don't have to join the Discord. There's no hidden clause or hidden fees. And this is the wrong colour. Do I? Oh yeah. I did pick up this set. Like I said, it was a very beat up box in Smith's at the time. And release day, honestly, one of the best deals I've got in Lego. And second best deal has to go to the Crimson Firehawk. I picked that up for like £15–20. And it is probably coming up to retirement towards the end of the year. But still, we're not there yet. The set hasn't retired, so it's not in any clearance. Well, it's not in any clearances that I've found. I'm sure it won't be long. Right, we've got... I am replacing some of these 1x4 plates with tiles because I don't seem to have as many plates as I would hope, and they're being used elsewhere. But I said we're going to... Was that a piece that I need? I said we're going to speak a bit more about the leaks that we spoke about Saturday with Boba Fett. I've seen over on the Reddit, a few people have been comparing the hairstyles to previous figures. That hairstyle really does not suit Boba Fett. Hopefully that is something like with the Sonic movie, and people are claiming it with Shrek, with the animation switching up. Hopefully that hairpiece is something that changes in the near future. But I can see Lego going with that hairpiece for Boba, trying to switch it up, give us something new. I don't think it necessarily is working for Boba, especially given the old hairpieces. The old hairpieces are a bit outdated. The first hairpiece was Luke Skywalker's old hairpiece, the one where the hair comes down the front of the face. That isn't really Boba Fett whatsoever, but the second hairpiece was quite cool. Lego need to make a UCS Jedi Temple set. Stay tuned. Friday here, we've got our first channel charity stream. We will be building a Jedi Temple. If you stay to the end of this stream, you'll actually get pushed into that stream. You can set it up for notifications, and you can also see the thumbnail before anyone else, which I think is reason enough just to come back to the stream once it's done. Or a Jedi Temple battle pack with multiple Jedi pieces. Oh, custom alien head molds. We've said about this. I think it was I think it was something to do with the UCS Cantina, or the MBS Cantina, actually. And I can't remember the context for that, but I feel like I've got a pile of pieces that I'm going to find somewhere else. But that's a really good idea, to have a battle pack with Jedi. Maybe even have a little modular part of the temple. No, I've definitely got these pieces somewhere. Oh, I must have put them down. But it's a good idea to have a little modular pack. So like with the Iron Man laboratory, you can stack it up and then mix the minifigures. So I'm going to work on the alt build to make an ATTE into a Venator. I saw one of those on the Reddit quite recently, actually. And with the panel pieces, it's a really good idea to build it. You get enough grey and enough dark red to build your own Venator, and probably even build a display stand for it, a bit like the MIDI scale series. There we go. We've got some floating rocks that fall over. I think they're meant to fall over. I'm not entirely sure. But back to the Jedi Temple custom pack. I think that's a good idea if we get, I mean, what alien heads? We couldn't get anyone too specific. Probably get like a generic sassy tin, because there's probably other species you can make as Jedi, and it's not a Jedi too well known that people would only want one. Sure, so some people would be picking up. Oh, so we've got this droid that's meant to be knocking them down. This is from an episode in season 1, if I remember correctly, where they tried to program the droids to clean up, and then these are the training droids. They tried to make them clean up the mess that Yoda gave them, or the other Jedi Master gave them, and then it ends up going, well, not to plan. And as you can see by that play feature, it makes an absolute mess of this Jedi Temple on Tenoo. It's interesting between the two sets which minifigures LEGO have chosen to give us and which ones they haven't. All these minifigures are somewhat reoccurring, but with this Yoda minifigure, I do think it could, well, actually, this Crimson Firehawk is the more expensive set. I think this would have been good coming with the other Jedi Master, because she shows up a lot more than, I can't remember her name, and I know in season 2 it is swapped out to another Jedi Master, but they both show up more than Yoda as far as I've seen. And it would have been nice, maybe Yoda could have come in an Acolyte set, or even a promo to go alongside the show coming out. Right, we're going to use the tile just at the front there. But which Jedi? Let me know in chat, which Jedi do you think, which species should we include? They could just throw in heads they already have, like a Duros and a few of like a Rogue One species. But I think it'd be cool to get a Coleman Trebor head, because you've got that hairpiece that goes alongside, like the Sassy Tin hairpiece. We could also get, I don't know, they couldn't throw in like Ki-Adi-Mundi, or even Plo Koon probably couldn't make it because of how well known they are. So I wonder which Jedi we could actually get in a bundle, in a Jedi Temple battle pack. We'd definitely have to get one of those UCS lamps to go alongside whatever room we've got. Maybe even a few chairs that we can build into the council. But I do wonder which Jedi LEGO would be willing to put in those style of sets, so we can just have as many of the Jedi. I'm sure loads of people would be picking up. Yeah, the ATTE, especially the new ATTE, is a really, really good set. I did have trouble breaking it down for the ATOT, but you might realise that the ATOT we built on Saturday is also not too far off looking like an ATTE. We just removed the top and kept. That's a good thing with some alternate builds. You don't have to destroy the entire set. If the ATTE, or if whatever set it is, does look nice, you can keep the pieces looking like the original set. The ATOT is a modified ATTE, and it is the exact same without the roof. So when it comes to building Lego sets, it does help to have a little look at how they're built in universe. And when it comes to ATTE, ATOT, remove the roof and add a bunch more seats. So that's exactly what we did. All right, this annoyed me when I built the original set, and it's going to annoy me now that we're covering up. It does look sort of un-Lego like, and this whole wall in general, it's a 4+ set, So we're going to get a ton of these big pieces. But the fact that this wall is a custom piece and they couldn't center these panels, so we're not covering up any of them. We could even add, say, windows or something if we're using this for a mock, rather than it colliding with the arch and just not really. I've tried bars, I've tried window elements, and I just can't place it in any of the mocks I've built so far. But yes, with Star Wars ships, a lot of the time when you're looking at building them in something like Lego, it does help looking at how they're built in universe and taking some pointers. I guess the Venator, it's not going to help for, because can you imagine in universe if they tried to build a Venator with an ATTE? I wonder how many ATTEs it would take life-size to build a life-size Venator. I don't think that's really valued a lot in the Republic aren't building many Venators out of ATTEs, so I can see why there's no canon answer for that, but that might be a fun bit of number crunching later on. And it's only been 20 minutes. We've had a little conversation and pretty much finished building the first set. So you can see why I might build the N1 after this. I remember Saturday actually, someone said they were picking up the N1 and I can't remember who, but the new 4 Plus N1 is, well, I'm still yet to pick up a new Mandalorian minifigure. So not only for Mando, but we've also got the brand new droid, which is a brand new minifigure using the same mold as droids have for decades now. But it is a really, really cool minifigure. All right, just got a few potted plants out the front. I remember one of these as well, doesn't stick down, which is for a 4 Plus set, you'd expect everything to be clipped down and not going anywhere. But this plant right here that we attach with the 1x1 round brick, and then it just sits in the front there. So I guess no one's swinging this around, but if you were to, it just pops straight out when they could have just used a second piece. These sets were so expensive, and it's almost exclusively down to the fact that they were, oh, this rock was quite cool. They came with exclusive pieces. We've got a Jedi logo printed on the top, pretty cool, can be used in other Jedi Temple builds, like for Acolyte, like for this theoretical UCS Jedi Temple we're building, or a Jedi Temple battle pack, or even both. We could get this in so many other sets, which can, you know, still increase the price of it, but it also means that that price increase is split across multiple sets. So rather than paying, does anyone know the prices for these sets? I think the Tenoo Temple was £37, the Firehawk was £45, if memory serves me correctly. But either way, we're paying way too much for 4 Plus sets that are meant to be fairly cheap and cheerful as far as sets go. And I don't see many children pay, well, the children aren't going to be paying for this, but I don't even see many older relatives, parents, grandparents paying that much for what you get here, when the same amount of money will get you a play ship that's a lot bigger than this. You can get a Crimson Firehawk that's probably, well, I don't really know how big the Lego model is. We'll build that in just a second, but it feels like it's going to be a lot bigger than what the Lego set actually is. And just on that basis, Lego are competing with, have I missed? Lego are competing with toys that they just can't keep up as Lego. So the nice feature of this, we get lists of laser lightsaber stored on the back of the speeder, and then these 2 green blades go, it's interesting, they've got a clip for the actual blade element, because the lightsaber blade isn't meant to be touching anything, but the lightsabers do go either side of this crystal in case it needs an extra little bit of protecting. There we go. Ain't half bad. And I think 20-25 minutes, almost as quick as that one guy that built the UCS Mos Eisley in like 2 hours. We just got this one spare element, which I feel, perhaps this is from the droid, where I got the other translucent element. It does look translucent. I can't tell if it's the top or the bottom one, so we'll put it on the bottom for now and then get cracking open the Crimson Firehawk. I am excited to see if there is any new clone content. Definitely, after Bad Batch, Star Wars can't just leave the clones there and carry them on in a comic series. That is Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Sith, and then if we get a Tales of... Let's bring back this. If we get Tales of the Jedi, which we've got, Tales of the Sith, Tales of the Clones, perfect to follow Rex and the gang. 6 different, well, I guess 6 different stories. Do we get 3 and 3? So we'd have 3 on Rex, maybe 3 on Cody, and maybe Cody doesn't line up to where Rex goes. Maybe Cody finds a different way into the rebellion, and therefore Cody can survive. That would be a good idea. So Tales of the Sith, Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Clones, and then because we've got Tales of the Clones, Tales of the Droids. Not only can we get a story with R2-D2 that predates Phantom Menace, 3PO weren't around, so to find out what R2 did before coming into service with the royalty, that could be fun. And then 3 episodes on R2, 3 episodes on this random B1 battle droid that they get us to fall in love with, gets Lego sets, maybe a bigger scale Lego set coming out later this year. Maybe that could be, we are clutching at straws here. But yeah, we could get a few different ones of that. Speaking of leaks, I did promise between, let me find the right one, there we go. Between builds, we will be taking a look at some of the leaks. And there's not a lot. There's one new Lego set, which, funny thing actually, you remember me showing off Z-Blob, which has this new little, almost, I don't want to say teardrop, this very slimy brick that I thought was brand new for Z-Blob. It turns out that this piece was already used in a set. This white element just here at the edge of the mouse is the same element as Z-Blob, and I only know this because I took a look at a brand new set coming out today, and we've got it in blue as well. So we've now got 3 different colours of Z-Blobs, which is quite interesting. The botanicals lines in general are quite cool, and we've also got a gift with purchase, which means if you get £135, you'll have to order a lot of these sets, but you do get an extra mixed flower pot, which is similar to the gift with purchase exactly a year ago, and no doubt a year before that. But as well as the botanicals, I don't think we've got any other sets. These all seem to be the exact same as we saw last week. But there's a few Reddit posts about Boba and Jango that I would like to talk about, because the Jango and Boba, like we said, they aren't purple, and I think Lego should have gone with a purple. However, there was the top comment which interested me on this by Arrow Talon, the 2002 Violet, which was used for the last Jango Fett, or for one of the Jango Fetts, one of the better Jango Fetts, has been retired. So Lego, I know Danish don't have a word for purple, so it's technically dark pink, and that's why a lot of purple colours come and go, and it's very hard for Lego to stick with a purple colour. But I do think I don't think the blue does look... Hello there, Great Snow Blizzard, good morning. It's almost nighttime where I am. I do think the Jango and Boba Fett do look alright for a modern day Lego set. The colours aren't perfect. The torso of Jango, I guess the torso works, given the suit is a bit different coloured to the purple. It does look like it's all purple, but I do think that's just the lighting in this photo. And also, we've got images of all 4 Boba Fetts. We've only got 4 young Bobas. And Kylo Ren's hairpiece in the middle wasn't great, wasn't perfect for it. It wasn't bad either. I do think it's a pretty decent hairpiece, but I can't remember the ID now of the hairpiece. There is a hairpiece that has been used a few times that is better. If you search for a custom young Boba, I'm sure you'll see images of it being used. And you can see the very first Boba all those years ago, like over 2 decades ago now, does use the same hairpiece as Luke Skywalker did back then, which definitely isn't the right choice for young Boba, but is also better than the newer piece. So unless this is one of those things where Lego have taken an image and just Googled it and got a scruffy head Boba, because we saw the same with the recent Sarlacc, the Lego Sarlacc, which if you haven't seen it by now, yeah, it's not very popular here on the channel. Let's see if we can find, there we go, first up. I've seen this for over £20 off. The minifigures in this aren't great. We've got Luke with grey robes after Star Wars did a whole Mandalorian special. Not a whole Mandalorian special, but they did focus on Luke a lot because of his arrival at the end of Season 2, talking about recreating the black robes from Return of the Jedi. And LEGO even have a minifigure. LEGO probably retired by the time this set come out, but they recently had a minifigure for that exact version of Luke that just needed another hand, and that would have been all right. Han as well, flip torso. Lando, I don't think there's really anything wrong. Dual molded legs should have been a necessity, but I don't think that's the last one actually. Let's bring that back. Dual molded legs should have been a necessity, but we can forgive LEGO for that. It's really the other two problems I'm concerned with. And we've also got, someone has compiled just for us, not the rest of Reddit, just for us specifically here, we've got the rest of the LEGO sets that we are expecting. Gonna take Tatooine to a LEGO convention. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. I'm still working on my mini builders Tatooine, but with studio messing up, I've had to put pause on that project. But for May, we have a UCS Jango's Slave One. We all knew about that with the playset coming later this year. We've also got a Star Wars logo, which I completely forgot about until you reminded me last week, which 700 pieces. What have we got? So that's another set number. Jango Fett helmet. This is a bit muddled up, but the Star Wars logo would be interesting to see if it come with ships as opposed to minifigures, because so far we haven't seen any minifigures mentioned for it. If it does come with figures, we're probably looking at Mando, Grogu, Vader, Luke Skywalker, Tatooine Luke Skywalker. If we do get minifigures and Tatooine Luke from his land speeder isn't included, that will be shocking. And I guess maybe Anakin and Palpatine. I guess Anakin's included in Vader, but we'll probably get an Anakin, Vader, little Anakin, Force Ghost Anakin, just pure Anakin. And instead of Star Wars, it will just say Skywalker. We've also got a Jango Fett helmet. I think that's pretty new. We do have the Boba Fett behind. I assume, just like the Mando, it's going to be a recolor. It's been a while since this has been on shelves. I would be surprised if they don't do a clone trooper anytime soon, based on the same reason to bringing back Jango as opposed to Boba. After all, it is the exact same helmet, a buildable chopper. Buildable chopper will be quite cool. Luke Skywalker brickheads. We've also got a Star Wars gift with purchase, 190 pieces, 3 figures. Really looking forward to that. And I believe they've actually missed. Oh, I think, unless it's coming out later this year, I'm pretty certain that a LEGO Star Wars set has been missed. The 5-pack of brickheads. I don't see the 5-pack of brickheads anywhere here. I think the 5-pack of brickheads is going to be Revenge of the Sith. We've got Luke in his pilot gear, or we could have Luke in his snowtrooper gear, very, very close to the pilot gear. And you know, here on the channel, we like taking leaks and seeing what else they could be. It looks like a pilot gear, perhaps it's snowtrooper and has different gloves, maybe a few different printed bricks and styles. It'd be easier to tell when we got official images. And this is for the Empire Strikes Back anniversary. That could be a good idea. The 5-pack of brickheads, I think, will be Revenge of the Sith styled and will include Anakin, Kenobi. I think we'll also get a Count Dooku. We'll get a Palpatine, and we'll get a droid. We will get a droid. We'll either get a B2 battle droid or General Grievous. And I don't know which we could get a Grievous brickheads. That could be pretty cool. And the reasoning behind that is because we've got Dooku's duel, and that has Dooku, Anakin, Palpatine, and Kenobi's kind of in the fight for a second. And we also have 2 B2s march out alongside Dooku, or they could pair Anakin, Dooku, and Palpatine. Perhaps we'll just get not Palpatine in his silver robes, but Palpatine, General Palpatine, maybe even like a cloaked Palpatine. I don't really know what they'd do for Palpatine, but Anakin and Dooku, and then a Kenobi and Grievous. So it's sort of a mashup of the 3 scenes. I am the Senate Palpatine. Maybe we could even get someone like Mace Windu in there to pair up with Palpatine. I'm making it a 6-pack now, but either way, I do think we're going to get some sort of 5-6 pack of Brickheads for May. Hopefully we don't end up finding out that it's coming later this year, because the anniversary of Revenge of the Sith is actually May, sometime later on in May, so it would be nice to get it early before. Oh, there we go. Star Wars Brickheads. Oh, these are all May sets. We forgot about Kylo. We forgot about the U-Wing. I am looking at picking up the U-Wing day one. It's a tempting purchase, especially if I need it for the next gift with purchase. So we are looking at the Brickheads pack, 656 pieces, which is why I think it's a 5-pack. I don't think we'll be getting R2-D2. We've already got in Brickheads, so they're probably not going to revisit R2. I don't really know any other characters we could be getting in it. The U-Wing's pretty cool. We've seen images of that on here. Kylo Ren helmet, midi-scale Kylo Ren shuttle. Excited to see images of that. Interesting how they've given us two $70 sets, and they haven't given us... I suppose none of these will come with minifigures. Like I said, they might as well go big, go home, do some 18+ sets, really milk sequel fans for their money. But Kylo Ren's helmet, I hope we do get a Rise of... I know Force Awakens anniversaries this year, but I kind of hope we get a Rise of Skywalker one. It's a bit cooler with the red markings going throughout. All right, going ahead to June. We got a few sets. I don't really think we've spoken about anything past May here on streams. So we got Plo Koon's Microfighter, which we're all excited for, getting Plo Koon in a smaller set. I wonder if Plo Koon will come in any other set, because that Microfighter is either going to be a bit more expensive than it is because of the exclusive pieces and exclusive minifigures, which we've seen in a handful of Star Wars sets now, or that Plo Koon is exclusive to a Microfighter. The Maul Mech, what sort of Maul Mech are we going to get? I really hope we get some Grievous leg-styled Maul Mech from the Clone Wars, because it's meant to be around the Clone Wars, and that's a bit more expensive than the Microfighter. And then we've got the Death Trooper Battle Pack. 2 Death Troopers, 2 Night Troopers. Not the best scenario. Best scenario would be 1 Death Trooper, 2 Night Troopers, because there's only 3 Death Troopers in the Ahsoka show that we see. Maybe they pop up more. I'm sure Thrawn didn't use all of his troopers on Peridia, and he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. But if this is all from June, this is looking to be a nice month to be picking up some Lego. And that seems to be all from June. Maybe we can skip the June releases, but I would like to pick up some of those battle packs. We've also got a buildable K2SO from Andor 2, or at least in relation to Andor 2, a buildable Ewok. A buildable, I mean, they've done Yoda, they've done Grogu, they've done, there's a Chopper meant to be coming out. We've got, what other buildable? BB-8, Dio, Porgs? I guess the Ewoks are the Porgs of the original trilogy. That's a good point. So I'd like to see what the Ewok looks like if they do the original Ewoks from Return of the Jedi, and specifically Wicket. It's probably going to be Wicket out of all of the Ewoks. Could be like Logray or someone else. I think it is going to be Wicket. And I guess there could be a few different Ewoks. They could do a buildable droids set if that went down really well. I don't see that being possible. Clone Wars MTT. Ayla, Bly, 10 B1 battle droids, and that's the lot. You know what, Lego might be listening to us. 10 B1 battle droids, that does sound cool. I think a lot of this we have spoken about. The V19 Torrent, I'm going to skip ahead to August/summer. I suppose this is like August, September. They might stagger these out. Ventress, Kenobi, a clone pilot, and that's all for $60. That's like 50 quid here in the UK. Considering we've just got Ahsoka's Duel on Peridia, which is somewhere, and that comes with 5 minifigures. To only get 3, Ventress might have a Karma piece, like a little skirt piece around the bottom half. Kenobi might have arm printing, maybe dual molded. I guess arm printing could work for either of these minifigures, and the clone pilot for that price needs arm printing, side of leg printing, whack on dual molded legs, don't know what colour, but pick a colour. And then we've got the Jango Fett Slave 1 playset, Jango Boba and a Kaminoan. Now that's new. Originally, as far as I was aware, it was just Jango and Boba, which is the same as the May League, just Jango and Boba. So the fact we're getting an extra figure in the playset, Jango for sure is not coming with printed arms. Otherwise, that's probably going to upset a few peeps. UCS Death Star. We've also got the Advent Calendar. No news on that, which is surprising. And then Palpatine coming in April in the Encyclopedia, which is actually looking to be a really cool figure. I don't think there's anything else. No, we'll have a look before the end of the stream, but as far as it looks, no extra leaks that have dropped just only a second ago like Django did on Saturday. Hopefully we do see a few more May leaks, especially some of the images. The sets sound really... June is so surprising because I feel like that's normally around the time that I spend the most on, especially Lego Star Wars, but Lego in general. So I wonder what Lego have planned for some of their other themes. If Star Wars is going to be a mech, a microfighter, and a small battle pack, like a Mandalorian style battle pack, not even a Clone Wars style. It's a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one by far. Ooh. So we've still got plastic bags. This wasn't got from a Lego store, so we're still dealing with plastic bags. I thought we were missing a bag then. It seems that we've got everything. 1, 2, 3 instructions again. 2 little ones and a big one. So perhaps this will be quite cool if you're building this with children or with younger siblings even, because we get one fairly big instruction manual, which is bag number 3. Then we get, and that's the Crimson Firehawk itself. Bag number 2 is a little stand, and then bag number 1 is the speeder. Same as the Tenoo Temple, where we started off with Liz Soleil's speeder bike and then went to the droid and little stand. This is a little market stall. So again, we could have got the... What species is Grease? I forget. If you've played Fallen Order, the species of the main man behind the little market stalls here is the same species as Grease. So we could have got that minifigure, and that would have played so nicely into getting a custom Grease Ventress with Merrin, Night Sister Merrin, and Cal Kestis BD1 we got as anniversary sets. This is something that Lego could be thinking of, because when it comes to us, I bought this set for the minifigures, and it was cheaper buying the actual set than the minifigures, and you can't say that very often. But that's something Lego needs to be thinking of, because even though this set is aimed at kids, the minifigures, how can the minifigures be used? I'm sure Lego knew that Nubs would be a popular character with the fans, which is why they chose Nubs for the second set. Same kind of with Nash Durango. Probably pretty easy to part out with other figures if you are looking. But then we get RJ83, which, you know, whack BB-8's head on a 1x1 translucent tile. I guess it's also not too far off Lola. Is it Lola from the Kenobi show? I wonder why they went with a 2x2 dish for Lola after choosing a 1x1 little mushroom cap for RJ. That is an interesting choice. But as far as all of these sets, I'm definitely excited to see what the Slave one. I think I'm most excited to see the Slave one. And it coming with a Kaminoan. Hopefully it's not the same Kaminoan as we got in Kenobi Starfighter. I mean, I'd still pick it up, and a Kaminoan's a Kaminoan. They kind of look the same. I'm not sure that's the right thing to be saying, but they do look more similar than some of the other species we get in Star Wars. So I wouldn't be too disappointed if we did get... Oh, that's a... You can't feel it, not yet at least, but not only is it double coloured, I think yellow underneath, although the instructions just show us a brown cape. That's pretty weird, isn't it? Brown on the inside, brown on the outside. Does the box... Oh, there you go. The box shows us yellow on the inside. The instructions haven't been on it. I recently picked up Z-Blob's mech, which came out in January, and the instructions for that were missing stubs all over the place. It's not very good from Lego. I understand they're cutting down on printing, but when you're printing a colour, you might as well make it the right colour. It does make it a lot easier for, you know, a 4+ set. Makes it easier to follow along with. I doubt many 4-year-olds are building this and taking a look at... I guess they've probably got the show on whilst they're building. But Nubs here is a lot closer to what we want than Stitch. I mean, we want Stitch, we want Nubs. Maybe it's something about light blue characters with big ears. Maybe there's a pattern to that somewhere. It's interesting how they split it up. So the first bag's always the smallest, and I wonder if that works with other sets. Like if you take Diagon Alley, I wonder if Diagon Alley is split up into four different buildings. I think you can build that, might be more, but I wonder if the first building is the smallest, or it just so happens to fall this way because that's what they did for the last set. Maybe there's no pattern to it. There we go. So does this go on the speeder? We've got our first little side build done there. If I move the pieces over, be able to see it just that little bit better. What was interesting when I opened this, you can see there's already a little bit of, I wouldn't say scratch, a little bit of cardboard on it. So whilst I'm cleaning this, what was interesting about it is the fact that the cockpit, which is already pretty scratched up, I don't know if you can see it in any of the glaze, it's not badly scratched up. It's about the same as a normal Lego piece you take out of a bag where they're just jingling as they're being delivered. But it isn't in perfect condition, which for a collector, if you are fussed about that sort of thing, isn't great news. And whilst you could contact Lego and probably get some kind of replacement, I doubt they've still got the piece in stock. And actually, I wonder if you are able to replace exclusive pieces, because you could just say you're missing it having never picked up the set and get a pretty rare piece for quite cheap. So maybe you can't get it through lego.com. And that does suck if yours arrives scratched up and you're unable to then really do anything about it. So thankfully, a lot of more expensive sets do have them bagged up separately, and especially with paper bags, we're seeing some plastic bags still being used to store a lot of the more fragile elements. But this instruction manual is 24 pages long. And as you can see, this is what I was dealing with online. So you get a page with all the pieces you'll need in hands, and then you get the pieces. I wonder if it's quicker to build them left hand than right hand. I don't think it is, not when I'm in the swing of it. But I guess we can give it a shot. So we've got left hand these two, right hand these. And I don't think we'll be seeing any more Young Jedi Adventure sets, because they've given us Nubs, they've given us Nash, they've given us Liss, they've given us Kai, and they've given us Yoda. Yoda was the big one. Yoda might have been, especially with his appearance in Acolyte, well, kind of appearance in Acolyte, which if you haven't watched yet, I definitely recommend watching Acolyte, because there's about to be a ton more High Republic content. A lot of games. I don't see shows doing too well after Acolyte. I don't think the reception was too warm, so maybe it'll be a while before it comes back to our screens. But there is going to be a lot of High Republic content. If you follow along with the comics, whew, if you actually do follow along with the comics, props to you, because I don't know where I'd start. Having seen the first High Republic comic, it's a bit like, I suppose it's a bit like Marvel comics and DC comics, in the sense of people will have grown up. There are an age bracket of people that have grown up since the first comic has been put out, which is a bit longer ago compared to something like Star Wars. But I've seen the first book and then the first comic for High Republic, and I read the first book. I don't think I read the first comic. I read the first comic of the second series they did, but they're pretty good. The problem was there was just so much content coming out, and they were trying to flush out a whole brand new era. When it comes to something like Old Republic, all we've really got to go off is the Old Republic games, and then towards the end, I guess we've got KOTOR, which does take place in its own almost pocket universe. It does feel sometimes that KOTOR happened in its own world, and it had quite a big effect on the rest of the galaxy. But at the same time, a lot of people that didn't know about the events really weren't affected at all. So we've really only got Star Wars The Old Republic, the mass multiplayer online RPG, the role-playing game, that did receive an update. Still haven't gotten to playing that, but definitely will have to at some point. I don't think the update was anything big. It was probably another DLC for it, but we've got another one of these bases, which would connect to the original set if it weren't different colour, and also we hadn't already filled the gaps. So it doesn't actually connect, but if you did want to connect it, you could probably connect it to the front just like that. We'll position it next to it in the shelf. I don't think the builds for these are too bad. I think pieces like this and like the giant wall from the Tenoo Temple just aren't the best when it comes to Lego Star Wars, especially rebuilding sets. What I like to do is, and you'll see this in tomorrow's video, a little sneak peek, I might even make a short about it. I like to deconstruct bigger pieces like the rock walls, for instance, and build them out of actual Lego pieces, because I'm not a fan of these giant Lego elements. When it comes to making mocks and when it comes to trying to build other sets with this, there's not really any, there's just no use for these wings, is there? There's nothing that they can be used for other than something like the Firehawk. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know what else. Hopefully the stream isn't muted. It's all coming fine on my end. So if you hit refresh, hopefully that will fix any audio issues you are having. YouTube is playing up. Maybe that's why we were late to the stream. YouTube has been hit and miss for it. But at least we got it working in the end. Right, we've got a few more crates. This is feeling like one of the brand new Minecraft sets, which is interesting because it's nothing to do with Minecraft, but we get some really good outposts in the new Minecraft set. So this could be like something from Minecraft. Oh no, speaking of elements we don't like, we've also got a 2x6 tile, which isn't terrible, but when 1x6s exist, do we really need to have an element that's a lot rarer than 1x6s? And again, I think it's just the usefulness of it. I don't mind these bricks here, which are a bit taller, because they're just free 1x2s, and it's really not a problem at all. But when it comes to other elements like the tiles, like these giant plates, they're just not too great. Got some more. What's interesting, well, it's not really, what's interesting when it comes to building a 4+ set is on the left hand side they've given us a jumper tile plate so that we can get these different containers joined, but on the right they've given us some studs. So would Lego not have benefited putting, I guess they're not going to want people taking the containers off. Maybe that's just so we can fit the first one on. It is interesting, the different choices. That is interesting. The different choices designers make. This is the same set and the same designer working on the same build, yet there's a different choice for each side of it. Maybe it's to mix things up, please everyone, which, you know, they're not going to do in a Lego set. They might as well. They're trying to when will Lego make the Felucia Troop Battle Pack? We just went over that for the summer. Let me bring that back up. Let's have a little look. So I think that was for August. Yeah, so August/summer, August/September, we're getting the 327 Battle Pack, 4 clones, 3 battle droids, a dwarf spider droid, only one, and an AT-RT Walker. Again, only one. Kind of expensive. But if the troops come through and they're looking really cool, Ayla Secura and Bly are in a different set, an MTT, releasing the same time with 10 battle droids. So, guten Abend. Hello there, Robert. Welcome back to the stream. Yeah, they're coming out at the same time, so that could be quite a good, that's a good idea from Lego, releasing them at the same time. You get the MTT and you're going to want, what, 10 clones? You'll have to buy 3/4 of the set. But this reminds me, it's not of the Tenoo Temple. What this top bit reminds me, which we're not even there yet, what this top bit reminds me of is one of the gift with purchases. It's one of the little drive-through sets that Lego was giving out a while back, and I so happened to pick up. Because Lego don't advertise gift with purchases. It's not like May 4th. All the city gift with purchases just come and go every so often. But that was green and white, I think that was. So a bit different to this, but you know, in the same pieces, different colour. With these summer sets, we've seen, so far we've got what, 6 sets January, 1 in March. We're getting another Kylo helmet, Kylo ship, U-wing. I think we're getting another 5 or 6 sets in May, and then 3 in June. It's probably the smallest June release wave we've had ever, with just 3 sets, especially those 3 sets being a microfighter, a battle pack, and a mech. You're going to be able to pick those up and not hit any of the Lego gift with purchases. I don't know if that's worth going through Lego. You're not even getting a load of insider points through that purchase. But we have some cheese and an apple. Apple in the barrel and some cheese in the crate. Not printed. They haven't reused the Looney Tunes cheese wedge, which would be a perfect piece to just keep, especially with Lego City. It'd be a perfect piece to keep that one around and keep using that in Lego City as cheese. But again, Lego, not a fan of printed pieces unless they can charge a fortune for it in these Young Jedi Adventures sets and give us some droids. Bag 3 should include Nash Durango. And Nash Durango is the pilot, not a Jedi, not full sensitive, kind of ends up, that's early on. I can't remember how Nash ends up with the group. But early on, Nash finds themselves with the rest of the younglings and suddenly going on adventures. And the younglings, Jedi, not meant to be having any attachments, unless you're following Anakin Skywalker, or Kenobi, or Qui-Gon, or Dooku, or Yoda. Ignore that whole lineage. But they're not meant to have attachments, so I guess they don't have attachments to ships, because none of them have any sort of vessels other than the speeders they can rent from the temple. And Nash is their pilot around the galaxy. Although saying that, the Jedi Masters do have ships, because that's what they use to catch up with the younglings when they're out and about. Really nice printed piece here. This is an interesting element, because I don't think, I mean, every Lego brick, don't get me wrong, every single Lego brick can be made with existing pieces, and this cockpit as well. It looks like an older style cockpit that perhaps Lego have brought back. It looks different to the one that was included in the Y-Wing, in the Yavin Temple. We've also got a nice trans-blue dome, which isn't too common. But yeah, Nash just ends up being the pilot for the younglings and doesn't really complain. I guess nothing better to do than, I guess it'd be pretty cool going on adventures with 3 Jedi anythings, Jedi younglings, Jedi knights. So around the same age as them, yeah, I think that's fair enough. Flying around takes some skill to be able to fly. Maybe this is a Poe Dameron situation and they're actually a little full sensitive, so that's how they're able to fly so well. Season 2 will end with them being initiated as some sort of Jedi youngling. Accidentally muted it. It's so easy to do on YouTube. Just hit an M and then suddenly everything's gone silent. I've done that a fair share before. Don't worry about it. Do I have any mocks? I do. I have a mock that I might show off. I've got a mock scheduled for tomorrow. Video's been recorded and everything. So I might show that off at the end of the stream if I'm feeling like it. And I've got a few in the works. After streaming on Saturday and talking a lot about a Mustafar diorama, I really want to get to work on a Mustafar diorama, but not just, you know, the usual fire that everyone does and the little rocky side with a high ground, and a proper Mustafar diorama. So we've done a few dioramas. We've done a lot of the big duels. We've done Phantom Menace with the Duel of the Fates, and that had a moving door. That was a really fun one to put together. We've also done, I don't think we've done an Attack of the Clones one. We haven't done a Revenge of the Sith. Well, I've done a Revenge of the Sith. I haven't done a Revenge of the Sith since I've been making videos on this channel, not in the last couple of years. Hello there, Kid Wonder Stories. Nice of you to join in. And we've done, oh, recently we did the Death Star Vader versus Kenobi, which was more so of scene 38, of the remastered clip. And what have we done? This is on a Wednesday. Don't worry, we are streaming on a Saturday, on this Saturday as well as on Friday. We've got a nice charity stream going on Friday, which is going to be loads of fun. I'm not sure what else mock-wise. I'm pretty sure we've done something for Empire Strikes Back. I've got to have done something. And we've done a Death Star duel from Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens. I guess there's not really a duel. We've got the set of the Force Awakens duel, but I might have to do something with that. Oh, Last Jedi. Last Jedi we've done as well. There you go. So there's a few movies we need to fill in when it comes to duels, dioramas and mocks. But there's always a mock in the works. Friday, we will be building a mock. We're not building any official Lego set, so I'm looking forward to that. Oh, 2 Lego sets. I think was one of those. I can't remember what it was now. I can't remember if you mentioned them Saturday. Any chance you're building them whilst watching this stream? There's an idea. Usually we will be sticking to Tanway and Kenobi Starfighter and a Minecraft boat. If that's the Minecraft pirate ship, there's a Minecraft pirate ship that comes with a camel, I think it is. That one looks really good. I've been tempted to pick that one up. And as for Tanway, you missed it a second ago, but I will be more than happy to revisit any of these leaks. We're looking at getting a, there you go, bottom right, Jango Fett Slave 1 playset. The UCS set comes with Jango and Boba. But the Slave 1 playset, which is much cheap, it's not cheap, 60 quid, $70, comes with Jango, Boba, and apparently a Kaminoan minifigure. Don't know if that will be the same one as the one with Obi-Wan Starfighter, if they are going to mix it up. But it would be nice if we get a brand new Kaminoan, even if they just switch up the details a little bit. Right, let's connect this with yellow pins. Yellow pins don't have any of the friction pins, so it's nice for Lego to have given us some yellow pins. They're not common at all. I'm not sure I've got many yellow pins. There we go. Look, there's 3 yellow pins on the top, and I've probably got 1 or 2 in sets, but most of the time we either get black, or if they want to go without friction pins, we get grey. So I'll take some yellow ones. This young Jedi. Yeah, we've got Stitch. Stitch was originally the nubbed minifigure we were working with, and I'm happy to have finally changed that. All right, get a few of these. So, even though these are exclusive pieces, Lego must have this mold used for something else, because we're still putting pieces underneath these two to fill the gaps just at the side. You can see there's this little gap that's filled with this red slope. So it is, that must exist from somewhere or other, and actually it's not going there because it's meant to go across the 2 pieces, so we can't disconnect this for any sort of interior look, which I'm not sure 4-year-olds are really complaining about how they can get into the interior. My fingers might not fit, but I'm sure that's not a problem for littler hands. I don't know if we can get the top to pop off as well. Hopefully we can. Some more bricks and slopes. These aren't even connected. I'm excited for the Slave 1 because I expected it to be a bit like the Boba Fett starship when we got the Mando and Boba set, and that was pretty small. But this sounds like it's going to be a full-on playset. I don't remember. I don't know if we've had any other Starfighter, well, Slave 1 starfighters and Boba Fett starships around that price. Around, what was it, 70? That's a pretty decent price for a starship, to be fair. We get a sizable model and also 3 minifigures. Could we maybe like an extra Kaminoan, 2 Kaminoans? Maybe even a Kenobi. What Kenobi? Kenobi's been recent enough, but like we were talking about the Jedi battle pack earlier on, to get a spare Kenobi, we could then use the Kenobi torso and legs, maybe even other parts of Kenobi, to make other Jedi. If you don't have a Revenge of the Sith Kenobi, you can swap out the hair to make a Revenge of the Sith Kenobi. And that is, I think that's the biggest, I mean, if that's the biggest disappointment, is it really a disappointment? But that's the biggest improvement I want to see from Lego Star Wars in the future. Little bits like that, giving us spare characters that are great for using to make other characters, and not 2 Anakin in burnt up robes, 2 Kenobis in burnt up robes that are only used in one scene. Get in some of those minifigures that are applicable elsewhere. Is one person like the video but isn't watching? That's alright, as long as they come in and like it. Maybe they're looping around to watch it later. The engines, oh, the engines are, for a 4+ set, the engines have impressed me. We've got 2 wheels either side. Only this would, I don't know if I've got autofocus. Okay, it's not focusing too well, but you can see the 2 white wheels on a Technic brick, and then we've got a cone dome on the outside, which is quite snazzy for a 4+ build. It's the sort of thing you'd see in a slightly bigger, well, I suppose this is quite a slightly bigger set. This is 40, 50 odd pound. Mando 4+ set. I do think it looks pretty good, especially for 4+ sets. After the Crimson Firehawk and after Tenoo Temple, I think the Mando 4+ set is easily the best 4+ set we've had in years. We got the Crimson Firehawk January last year. I'm pretty sure we got a set later last year. But then we also got Tenoo Temple the middle of the year before. And I do think that the Mando N1 beats both of them, not just in terms of popularity. I really don't want another Mandalorian figure, even though that's an updated Mandalorian figure. I didn't pick up the Microfighter, so I don't own the updated Mando fig. I just have got so many Mandalorians, and I've used them for so many customs, I'm really running out of ideas. I don't want any more Mandos, but well, we've built this pretty quickly. We've only been going for an hour here. I might have a look, see if the instructions are available on lego.com and try to build the Mando 4+ set. Like I said, won't have the Mando helmet, but we've pretty much got all of the other pieces. As far as the Crimson Firehawk goes, I am pretty impressed with it. Now that I've built it, it is a pretty impressive ship, but does it fit? So we do have Nash Durango with some bendy legs that fit in there, but Nubs doesn't have legs that can bend. We'll leave the saber behind. No clips. No clips on the back of this bike to clip the lightsaber, so I guess we've just got to put it down in that chest. Let's see if we can get all of the minifigures in here. I guess we should also put the droid probably towards the front. Where's this cockpit go? Yeah, so the droid does fit like it does in the show right at the front. And then we've got, let's put Nubs in. Let's grab Liss. I don't know if they're going to fit with their hair pieces, but my only gripe with this set is the fact that you're going to have to pull the roof apart and basically break down the set just to get into it. But it looks like all 5 perfectly. All 5 minifig. Oh, actually not quite perfectly. I think there's an extra stud that I've missed in the middle, but that's better than perfect. All minifigures fit inside the ship. We've also got a little space at the back for loading. The ramp doesn't go down fully because we've used this giant A-wing piece. I've got a few of those laying around, but we do have space, not for that crate because it does have arms, but for this little box just to go in the back. Does it fit in? There we go. And it comes out. It does look a bit unfinished at the back compared to how they've styled it at the front. It does look a little bit unfinished, but let's get the cockpit on. There we go. I'm quite happy actually that the droid fits in the front of this ship. We could probably even have fit Stitch inside. No room for that droid, but let's try and build the Mandalorian N1. Let's see if I can get up instructions for it. So we've got Tenoo Temple. I think it was just called the N1. Let's have a little look. I don't think there's too many rare pieces. I'm not going to try it. Well, I could try and build this from the image, but I think that's a bit too hard to do live. That's something that's a great video idea, not very well to execute on a live stream. But let's see what pieces we've got. And if I get stuck at any point, maybe we'll have to revisit this later on. The cockpit. Oh, okay. There is one thing that's holding back this set. I've had a look at the first page of the second set of instructions. That cockpit is all, that bottom of the N1 is all one piece. Realistically, Lego would split it into what? For a full set, maybe 4 or 5 pieces. I don't think that's too hard for a 4. You're seeing some of the Duplo pieces, you know, a lot of those elements are about Duplo brick sized. All right, let's see what we can get together. This bottom bit's going to be very hard to do. Maybe I have to revisit this. A lot of red bricks on the inside. It's nice to see them using these for... Oh, it's not too hard, is it? All right, how are we going to... I think if I can find one of those nose pieces. Hello there, excited kangaroo. welcome to the stream. If I can find one of these nose pieces, which I do keep in my Lego head actually at the top here, if I can find one of those elements, we will have a go at building it. If not, I'll have to leave this for another day. But I keep a celebrations tub as well in this head because this acts as a little separation layer between them. There we go. It's in white, but it will do unless there's a grey one on top. Yeah, we'll take a white one for now and see what we can get built of this. So in terms of what else is for Star Wars, it seems that we've got the year pretty much planned out. We know what we're getting in May. June, I would love a little surprise in June. Normally May, June, 2 months back to back, they're the big Star Wars months. I know on YouTube, June is just as big as May, especially for all the new sets. Can we see your marks? Maybe if we get this M1 built, I'll show it off early. How long is this? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more. So we need 11 more studs. That's a 10, that's a 12. All right, we're getting somewhere here. And I think this is what it comes down to with these 4+ sets. These big elements, these big specialized molds that are costing Lego so much to make, because printed pieces, we're getting printed pieces in fairly cheap sets. I think we got a printed slope-in Rex's Y-Wing. Makes sense for a ship build. And we get so many printed pieces in different sets, minifigures even. Ahsoka's Duel on Peridia has shown us that minifigures don't add up to that much, and the same with the Tantive boarding. We've got a load of minifigures in the Tantive boarding. We've seen a lot of minifigures in battle packs. We get 4 minifigures for like 12, 15 quid. Here we're getting 2 and a droid minifigures. 1, 2, 3, 4 printed pieces, I think. And it's costing like £10 per printed piece. So there's definitely more going on here, but I don't really know what as far as Lego. Or maybe this can go underneath. What Lego charges for Star Wars sets and Lego sets in general will always be a mystery. I just hope we can see some cheaper sets in the future. That would be nice. And then we do need a 10 by 4. It's built. So now we know everything that's coming for May, June, pretty much through till August, September. I think there'll be a few more sets for September, maybe like a D2C coming out like we saw with the Rebels versus Imperials, the Speeder versus the Dropship. That was a D2C, a direct to consumer, so Lego are the only ones selling it. And I don't know if they'll be doing another one this year. I suppose we did get that one last year, but I'm always down for another D2C, especially if it was something like the Troopers, Rebels. Lego know we all want a battle pack as much as we want pretty much any other set. As far as community goes, we all want another battle pack, but they've given it to us this year in an August set, which is very, very close. Maybe the direct-to-consumer set is the Death Star. I did a little bit of digging and found out that these Lego Star Wars sets this year are actually cheaper than Lego Star Wars sets were last year. It doesn't sound like it works, but that's not only for the first quarter. So far, the first quarter, January, February, March, April, there's no Lego sets in April. Well, there's not usually Lego sets in April for Star Wars, so we'll go with the first quarter. For 2024, I have the numbers somewhere. Let's get the official numbers so we're not just spitballing. For 2024, the first quarter cost an average of £60 per set. To be precise, £57.72. 71 pence even. So that's nearly £60 per Lego Star Wars set. Compared to this year, we've got a load of expensive sets, very similar to last year, a load of 18+ and display sets, £55. And that's not even rounded, £55.71. It's the exact same pence as the 2024. So you're looking at 57 to 55, only £2 cheaper. Doesn't look too bad until we add the rest of the year. 2024, we know exactly what Lego sets we got. And I did leave out, I did leave out, I think I left out like Luke's lightsaber, any of the promotional ones that have a value deemed at like 20 to 50 pound. Only the ones that retailed at Lego, and it costs 82 pound. Near enough bang on, 82 pound per Lego set, compared to all the rumoured prices for 2025. And again, they're rumoured. We've recently seen Jurassic Park have quite a hefty increase in the prices of a lot of the sets that are coming out. It does suck a little bit when they advertise prices for these Lego sets. These Lego sets have been online for quite some time now, and people have been getting excited and perhaps buying things based on how much they'll have saved for Lego, and then Lego switch up the prices and suddenly you realise you don't have enough for the set you really wanted. It's probably not a great feeling, but it is... Oh, where's the instructions gone? There we go. It's yeah, it's probably not great for Lego to have done that, but they can't help it. Something clearly that they hadn't decided on yet. Thanks, Excited Kangaroo. Great name. But with the prices, 2025 with the leaks, £72. That's on average £10 cheaper, and that's only excluding one set. That one set being the Death Star. I didn't have this. £1,000 for the Death Star. We've still got 2 UCS sets. Oh, that's something that I didn't point out. We're meant to be getting a second UCS set. What was the other? We've got the buildable B1 battle droid, Rebuild the Galaxy with the Greeblin brothers and a Duro, which I think does it does bump into another build. What was the other UCS? There's meant to be a second UCS set. So we're getting in May, we're getting the Slave one, but we're also meant to get another UCS set later this year. I think, unless I've missed it out already, that is missing off this list. It was missing one of the May... Oh no, it wasn't missing the May sets. We found that. But we're meant to be getting another UCS set on top of the £1,000 Death Star. I don't know who's going to afford that. I'm not going to afford that. I'm not buying either of them, but I'm sure there are people waiting for the next UCS sets. Anyone collecting the UCS sets, that's some dedication to collect all of those. But it'll be really interesting to see what Lego go for another UCS set. We've already got Django, and I think that's going to please a lot of Star Wars fans. The Slave One, not just Django Fett, but the Slave One in general. But what can we get for the second UCS set? I can't remember what the rumor is that it's meant to be. I'm surprised it's not on there. Reddit doesn't normally miss out on leaks. Well, I guess it's only one, and maybe it's not come from a reputable source, so I guess with a pinch of salt we'll take it. But the fact that we could be getting another UCS set alongside the Death Star, I guess the Death Star could be the direct-to-consumer. We've now got our base. It's got a bit of white on the bottom, but we've managed to piece it together using a bunch of different pieces. And now I think it'll be easier to collect the other pieces before we build it, just so it's somewhat... Ah, no, let's build it from scratch. Let's see how far we can get. All right, starting with a snot brick on the back. Wonder what this is for. But as with all Lego Star Wars leaks, I mean, this time last year we thought we were getting a Death Star. I'm pretty sure in 2023 there was some rumour of a Death Star. That might have been for the May gift with purchase. But we're always expecting to get some sort of Death Star. Eventually, Lego have got to give in and just give us a Death Star because everyone's been... Maybe that's a smart idea, actually. What if we just start a random rumour on this channel and gradually it just gets big enough that UCS Jedi Temple, if we start a rumour... If I can predict some, because we've had some really good shouts in the past when it comes to what sets are coming out. Okay, Ahsoka's ship being Plo Koon's wasn't a great shout, but then again, I'm not sure which one I was predicting, if it was the January one or not. So we might have predicted that right. I don't think we did. But if we start a fake rumour, it's not fake. It's not fake if we say it long enough that we will it into existence. If we start a rumour, oh, this isn't the right length. Oh, what's happened here? We miss it. We're missing one. Oh, that's not too hard to do. Right. Good thing we noticed that early. But if we start a inaccurate rumor about a UCS. Oh, this is actually pretty hard to fix. If we start about a UCS Jedi Temple, eventually Lego have got to listen and give us a use. If we get enough people behind it, we can get ourselves. I'm not sure that's the way I'd want to get a UCS Jedi Temple, but if we've got a UCS Jedi Temple, I also don't think I'd be complaining at the end of the day. What a way. If that, it wouldn't work, but if it would work, it would be amazing. All right, here we go. We fixed that up. Let's get a few more 1x4 bricks. And like I was saying earlier, the thing with the, maybe we can even use 1x8s to cut down on all the bricks we're using. If we did get a, we'll get onto the UCS Jedi Temple in a second. With the Mando N1, the big thing with it being more popular than the Young Jedi Adventures is Young Jedi Adventures could have been got out with one set. If they're going to make sets that are 40, 50 quid, you might as well make a 60 to 90 pound quid that's the Temple, the Firehawk, and all the figures. Whack them in one. And I understand it's not great for people that can't afford that, but people that can't be paying that price shouldn't be tempted into paying the price for the two smaller sets. I do think that is slightly wrong on Lego's part. Whack them both in one build, get rid of the side builds. You could definitely reduce the price to, I think you could probably get away with selling these in a £60 set, at least £60 on sale once it's been out for some time. But with the Mando N1, the fact that this set, how much is Lego charging for this? Lego's charging £25. £25 for a ship, a side build, two characters, and a smaller character, or two named characters and a droid, two characters and a small character, and Lego are charging £25, whereas the Crimson Firehawk was double it. And that's going to be the big thing. Is it worth it? Because this ship right here, this ship cost the same as Ahsoka Tano's Duel on Pridia. And what would you rather have? I know what I'd rather have. I'm lucky enough to have them both, but I definitely didn't pay the same for both of them. I think the fact that this set costs so much is a bit... I mean, I have the set, and clearly companies aren't picking up the set for what everyone else is paying because they seem to be selling it for a lot cheaper, or maybe they're just trying to get rid of stock. But it is interesting how we get a set that's meant for adults that are earning more money than the kids or the parents buying this for kids. As far as gifts, I definitely think an actual model kit is better value for Lego. But if you're into Lego, you just can't get that feeling anywhere else. Lego is Lego. A model kit isn't Lego at all. And it is very, very different, especially trying to break it down. Try and break down a model kit and see how many other ships you can build, because I don't think it's going to work too well. But I don't know, this ain't a terribly bad build, if I'm being honest. Got a nice little pod, I assume, for Grogu at the back here. Got some of these. A little round, where's the little brown round thing? I know I've got one because I've just used one. But do I have another one? Right, Grogu's getting luxury treatment. We're going with gold because we don't have a brown one. I think charging what the Firehawk costs, I can't get over that price for the set. Is it worth 40? Is it worth 40 quid? I don't think it's worth 40. I definitely think it's worth 20. It's probably, I think these are both solid 25, 30 pound sets. When you look at a battle pack, when you look at the Clone Trooper battle pack and what you're getting in there, you're getting more in the temple and the ship here. So if they made it 30, maybe even 35, which isn't far off Tenoo Temple, is stretching. That's a full price set. 47 approaching 50. No, I can't get behind that. That is way too much money. Some would say that's way too much money for a Lego set, but here we are talking about a UCS Death Star costing £1,000. I still wonder what the different minifigures... I realised in Saturday's stream we were speaking about the minifigures included in that, and I had the number 11, I think, written on my board, and that's where I stopped counting. So much for writing down the number to count, but I really don't know how many... I mean, it's going to be Stormtroopers. It's definitely going to be a load of Stormtroopers. I don't see Lego putting much else into that build, or into the build itself. A lot is going to be put in, but in terms of minifigures, we're going to get a bunch of Stormtroopers, and Lego are probably going to hope that they can fill it up with Stormtroopers. People will see the 40 minifigures and really get excited and then release a battle pack. That's what they should do, like they do with the UCS 8080. Maybe if this Death Star is impressive enough and it is a play and display set, I think they should do a display Death Star and then allow people, if they want to buy, you know, 10 battle packs of Stormtroopers to fill it up. But the UCS, how many Stormtroopers, because I know this is different with droids, we're allegedly getting 10 droids in a set later this year. How many Stormtroopers would you want in a Lego set? I think the limit for me, the Tantive boarding did it well with 2 Stormtroopers, 2 Rebels. I think 4. 4 is a healthy, regular Stormtroopers. How many Stormtroopers would you want? I think 4 is a healthy limit for me when it comes to, you know, the same Stormtrooper repeated. We're not talking about any slight variants like with the Night Troopers. We're talking about the same Stormtrooper minifigure, but in like multiples in a set. So 4 Stormtroopers in a play set, and that will be something like the Imperial Troop Transport that has only minifigures in it, and then maybe like a commando and an officer to fill out the set. 6 minifigures for a Death Star, especially collector's edition. You're going to want to get a few different ranks of Stormtroopers, and maybe that will fill out the count. But I still think you add Yularen and Tarkin, all the Imperials is like 8 of them that show up in A New Hope, and then you've got the guy that gets choked out. If Lego give us a double-sided face, I really like the A New Hope Robot Chicken, and if Lego give us a double-sided face with like the typical Lego disguise, the glasses and the moustache, I think that would make it really cool for collectors. This is a collector's piece, so we are thinking for collectors, what Easter eggs could Lego include? But I still think 4 Stormtrooper minifigures, that's a 10th. That's a 10th of the build. And then we've got Palpatine, Vader, Luke. You know, you're getting common minifigures. I don't think 40 minifigures is worth it if it does have any effect on the cost. And that's why I think the cost isn't affected by minifigures at all. Maybe for certain price brackets, Lego have, you know, well, try not to go above these minifigures unless you have to. And Grogu, maybe even RJ83. Maybe RJ was an exception, but we only got 2 minifigures with that set. We definitely could have got another Jedi or 2 with it. All right, there we go. We've got a Tau on the N1. So the N1, even though it's almost half the price, it's slightly longer. Let's line up the backs. It's slightly longer than the Firehawk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nah, 4. We'll say 4 because of the cones. Maybe even 3 studs longer. But then you look at the body of it. We haven't got the wings for the N1. It's a little unfair to intimidate it now, but is this the wings? All right, the wings are built back to back, so we can at least mirror them. I don't know if I have many of these pieces spare. Look at that. 2 of them in light bluish grey. It's as if I was prepared for this, which I really wasn't. Next time I'll definitely have to part out a few extra builds. But on ice cream truck. Ice cream truck. Fancy some ice cream now. My mind has melted. Special thing for builders.
Lego games.
Oh, I see. I'd love to get a Lego set that's just pays homage to the entire Lego. I guess you couldn't have the entire. Maybe one for Star Wars. I guess something like Lego Batman. I don't remember too many goofy bits, but you know, on Tantive with the trooper from the Skywalker saga, where you have the troopers in the hot tub, which is like paying homage to the complete saga. Little bits like that, stormtroopers in a hot tub, and just little bits of that. I guess we could have like mini kits, Kyber bricks in the set. Does limit Lego quite a bit to what they could do, but one Lego set that's just the silliest set with all the little bits from the Lego games, and that would be a good collector's piece, because I don't think with the price, and especially with a lot of other companies coming out with different model kits for things like the Falcon, if people are going to want to build something and have it on display, they're probably not going to pay out for Lego. I don't know if Lego is that big to just bring in people and get them to spend so much straight away. I think Lego really is a niche, and you either like Lego or you don't. But what Lego could do is, for the fans that like Lego, they're probably going to know, the older ones with a lot of money, that I guess there are quite a few of you I've seen that are new to Lego and are interested in all the UCS sets. So Lego must be doing something right. But even on top of this, we could get some complete saga sets that, you know, pay homage to some of the really silly things that the games include, because the games are really funny. And I miss that about Lego, getting the odd little funny bit in the set. Lego never really used to do it, so I can't say it's something that they've changed, because we never really got any silly bits in Lego sets. Maybe once or twice there'll be something, and even now the set designers will say, oh, this could be, and it could be, so that is nice to see. But I want something like, in this Death Star, a Trooper hot tub, and like I said, Uriel Poof behind the soup kitchen, Palpatine on an escalator, the Imperials round the board meeting with all their disguises from where Vader's been killing them off, but he can't actually use the Force. All Robot Chicken references and all comedy gold when it comes to little bits. And Lego have their own. Lego have had so many specials with so many digs at certain characters and so many little bits here and there, that Lego could fill a set with just these little digs that they've had it themselves sometimes for previous set designs and little bits like that. I'd just like to see that a bit more in Lego sets. I think these expensive sets are the perfect time. Well, maybe the expensive sets aren't the perfect time to try and experiment and do their own little things. Maybe they should be trying it in these cheap sets. But we're talking about cheap sets, and the set on the desk, not the one we're building. This cheap set, this cheap 4+, this is an entry-level Star Wars set, costs £47. This is crazy, but this set, have we gone out of focus? Why do we look out of focus? There we go, crisp up a little bit. This set right here is more expensive than the entire June wave of 2025 for Lego Star Wars. Let's just sit on that for a moment. This set is more expensive than the entire June wave. That is crazy. If that doesn't show that the prices for Lego Star Wars are just wrong, they're flat out wrong, I don't know what will. Ice cream duck. Lego does have ties to a duck, so I think all of the Lego House exclusives, I like the Lego House exclusives, but I do think Lego could release some of them. We've recently got a look at, I think it's Fabuland? Is it a Fabuland? Yeah, Fabuland set that Lego are releasing based on an old theme that's kind of what Animal Crossing is now. Fabuland walked so Animal Crossing could run. The problem is Fabuland wasn't based on any sort of theme, so no one really cared about Fabuland the way we do, or the way a load of people do about Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing had an existing fan base. Maybe that's what Lego are trying to do with the UCS sets, bring in some more people. But, you know, Star Wars... Oh, it's the wrong colour. Star Wars isn't in the best headspace right now for bringing in new fans. And maybe give the sequels a bit more of a backstory. Oh, I don't own it in black. Oh, no, I do. Here it is. Give the sequels a little more backstory, and you get a few more people in for them. But I do think... maybe that is also harming the UCS sets, but prices, the prices of some of these sets, there is no excusing them. There's no help, really. They there's some plan. They must be working. It's a bit like movie trailers. I heard someone talking about movie trailers the other day, and movie trailers must be working. Otherwise, you'd think studios would just no longer make any movie trailers. They must be doing something for them to be staying in production. But I don't remember the last time. Well, I don't remember many times I've seen a movie trailer, and because of that trailer, wanted to watch the movie. Usually, I already want to watch the movie, and the trailer doesn't really affect my outcome. A lot of the times for Star Wars, for instance, if the trailer's good, then I'll be a bit more excited about the movie. But, oh, Joshua Melvin just subscribed. Hello there, welcome to the channel. I don't think we've got to see that before. That was nice in purple. There are different notifications for a bunch of different things as well, by the way. So if a few of you want to test it out, let's spin this around. And a load of round bricks. This isn't half bad. I mean, this isn't a half bad N1 Starfighter, even compared to some of the other. We've got. Have we got two N1s, or have we only got one? I think we're still overdue a UCS N1 Starfighter as well. I can't remember how many N1 Starfighters we've had. We've had a fair amount of them. But as an N1, this isn't half bad. I am enjoying this build. It's a shame I don't have all of the pieces to build this as accurately to the set. But I'm trying to get the ideas of the set across in the pieces I'm choosing. And this is something, if you can ignore the rattling of the Lego. Actually, I think these pieces here on the end are the pieces from, they are from the Microfighter N1. Because I didn't pick up the Microfighter, but I did, there was another set I picked these up in. Oh, it was the magazine. The magazine N1 come with these ends because I really wanted to build a mock of the Microfighter that made it a bit more accurate to the shape of the Microfighter. That video's up here. That's not my mock. That's available for free on Rubricable, and it's a really good one. But that's where I got these two ends from. Yeah, they are the same colour. And the Lego Star Wars magazine, I do have to apologise to all of you across the water in America that don't have access to the Lego Star Wars magazine. We've been speaking a lot about that in comments between a few of us. And it does seem that the big reason America doesn't have the Star Wars magazine is because a publisher just won't pick it up. Now, Lego, this isn't an excuse for Lego. Lego can still direct to you deliver the magazine. It's what they do with the books. They just don't have another publisher. They must have a deal with one of the European publishers, you know, off the records, and sneak a few of them across the waters. But here in the UK, it is, I've got my magazine here. Who is it? Oh, it's Immediate. It's Immediate in the UK, and I know it's Blue Ocean for Germany. And that's why we get magazines at different times, just because different companies, I guess, have different deals that are set up at different times. Must be very confusing for Lego. But we do, yeah, it's down to the publisher. So Lego supply the minifigure, and the magazine itself is kind of done by Lego, kind of done by Disney, but really done by whoever is publishing. Really, whoever's publishing them just has to print off so many magazines. But it does feel like they're in a bit more control than Lego would like to be. So we've got a few solutions here, because the N1 Microfighter, the N1 Polybag, even that came with these pieces, we've recently got Qui-Gon. The next minifigure is, can I remember this? We've got the Imperial Commando, then we have the sort of Imperial Remnant Praetorian Guard, and then we have the Turbo Tank, which I have built just behind me here because we couldn't wait to May here. So I have built the Turbo Tank, which in the UK is coming to Star Wars magazines in May. In Europe, it's April/May/June. I think it's either Spain or Germany are like a month behind us, which, you know, a bit behind if I say so myself. And to America, I have my fingers crossed. I can cross my fingers, and that is all I can do, because I don't think Lego are going to be releasing the magazine anytime soon. But you might have noticed online, you can get a Yoda and a Fleet Commander minifigure in books in America, and it only costs like $7 or so. which a lot of these magazines, the magazine that came out today did cost, I think, like 7-8 quid. So you're looking at closer to $10. It's not half bad to pick up the books if you don't own the brand new Yoda or the Fleet Commander minifigure, which is the only minifigure exclusive to the TIE Interceptor versus Fangfighter. So if you didn't pick up that set, it's a pretty good book to get. I still don't see, though, why America doesn't get magazines. And all I can do is apologise on LEGO's behalf, because I do think they're missing out. There's a gold mine of people waiting to pick up this set that are across the pond, and all LEGO need to do is start publishing them. They make their own sets. They do make their own books for America. Do I have a dome element? Which LEGO set has a dome element that I can nick? But I don't know why the LEGO magazine, with all the exclusives, when LEGO announced they were stopping with regional exclusives and then gave America some, are they still paying back that debt in these? We got the magazine with Luke in at the same time that All You in America got the Best Bin duel. So we were even from the get-go as far as I saw. Vader come in every single set. It might have been the first Vader with arm printing. Every Vader has had arm printing since. And still not many minifigures that can be said for. But our debt was paid, your debt was paid straight away to us over in Europe, getting that magazine. And then we got another limited edition minifigure from an expensive set. Then we got another. It's not too often, you know. We probably get 2 really good minifigures a year. But it's nice to pick up for army building. Like I said, the new magazine is £7-8 and it comes with an Imperial Commando. For double that, at full price, you can get the set. So it's not too great a deal when you think you're getting a minifigure and sometimes a build alongside it, which is just an old magazine that they weren't able to sell. But it still is nice to get that odd minifigure. Qui-Gon, that LEGO set that Qui-Gon is in is now very, very expensive, thanks to that rare variant that, well, I managed to get one, and I'm not alone. I found out that this Qui-Gon with the white stripe in his hair, there is at least 2 of them that exist. So it's still rare enough for me to hold on to the fact that this is like worth £1,000 or so, but it's not a 1 of 1. It is officially a 1 of 2. And if anyone else has a similar defect on their Qui-Gon, please do DM me on Instagram, let me know. And I'm not going to buy it because, like I said, I think they should be worth like £1,000 just for the fun of it. But it's pretty cool to know who has similar defects, because I assumed it was a bad batch at a factory or maybe even just a one-off. But the fact it's been distributed elsewhere, this was the last magazine in my store, so I'm unable to check if there were any others like this released. I do think it's pretty cool to have a rare defected minifigure straight from the poly bag. Even if it weren't from a set, well, according to Brick Set, it is a set. But even if it weren't from an actual LEGO set, it's pretty cool to open it and have that experience of opening a minifigure that isn't entirely all there. Okay, this piece is exclusive. This dome for Grogu is exclusive to this set. A 2018 Piranha Attack from Ninjago. 2018 again, Egghead Mech. 2018 Dr. Fox Lab. A 2017 Lego Garmadon. Oh, it's a shark build, so I guess that's probably like dun Garmadon. That's pretty fun. Ninjago's having fun. And in 2009, Anakin's Y-Wing, which does also have another exclusive cockpit piece and 2 of these in white, which are also pretty rare. I'm pretty sure they've come in a few different city sets. Is there any alternate piece that perhaps is a little older that we can get a white? Nope, just the one. No fit, because I think I have one of these. Is there a different colour? I have one of these in, I want to say dark brown, but it might be black, and I don't really know. Just any translucent piece really works. We've got one in blue. Probably have one in blue. So they have brown, black. I think the old brown is the new black. I get so confused with these Lego colours. But this does come in 10 sets. We've got the Batman movie, Diagon Alley, same accessory pack, Berlin, Robbit, Nerp, Null. These are all the, I don't know if you remember, Lego did a Mixels Mixel's theme, a lot of those include it. And, oh, the 2014 Ghost. I don't have the 2014 Ghost, but I do have, it's very close to a few other sets on display. I think the problem with the Ghost cockpit is that it has some hinges on it. Let's make sure we don't knock anything off. This is a quality set. I picked this up for £60 I think it was, this Ghost playset. And we do have a small round, yeah, I think this will work. This will work for the sake of seeing what it looks like. Bit dusty, could use a little dusting. Let's put you up there. So I'm going to completely forget about this piece coming from that ship by the end of the video, but at the end of the stream even. There we go. We've got a dark brown cockpit piece for the back, and we can continue building the rest of... Oh, that's the ship. There we go. We've missed the nose piece somehow, and I do feel like these blasters at the front should have something, but this is pretty much what the ship is. Let's see what we can do for the front without using that dome. I do have the piece somewhere, but I do like creating a difficulty for myself. I do like adding a little challenge of building the pieces out of other Lego pieces, and I think I've got the perfect elements here if I can find some 1x2s. Yeah, there we go. So instead of trying to find the giant dome at the front, what I'm doing, because I'm really into building these bigger pieces using smaller elements, I've got this 2x4 rounded off slope piece, adding two 1x2s to the back of it, and then I've got these slope 1x2 slope elements with the little indent sticking out and sticking that to the front. It's not perfect, there is a little gap in the side and that cockpit does keep falling off, but we've pretty much got everything we need. Now with this Grogu spot, Grogu isn't always in the back here. We sometimes do have the little droid, which I have from the 2012 Lego X-Wing. So I might not have the set, and I'll be honest, if I didn't have that droid, I probably would. Let's get the minifigures in this, and then I can show off my build. Let's get the little Grogu and a Mandalorian. Let's get one without the jetpack. This is the oldest version of Mando, but that will do just fine. Make sure we don't destroy this little pod. There is enough space actually to have Grogu on Mando's lap. We can add a little I guess a little jumper piece to float in there, but there we go. We've got the two of them, and then for this astromech, it'd be better if we got rid of that clip. And I know canonically the droids' heads do stick up through the cockpits of these ships, so it doesn't look too weird the fact that we've got our droid, our astromech, sticking through there. And this ship is definitely better than the Crimson Firehawk. I'll do a quick review of them at the end, but as you've been waiting so patiently, let me see if I can find my mock. All right, so I don't have the minifigures with it. I could probably get a few let's get Yoda out because this is the funnest feature. But at the start of the month, we took a look at the... Well, there's Yoda. Let's get a bracket. We took a look at all of the Lego Star Wars dolls. My favourite of them was the doll on Pridia, which I am looking at making even bigger, if you can believe it, and also the doll on Geonosis. So the doll on Geonosis, 2013, pretty old set. I thought, what's better than taking that and trying to make that look, trying to build that into the doll on Pridia. Very different scenes. One of the biggest problems I've seen on the web with the doll on Pridia is it's just a base plate, and it is. So I've taken the doll on Geonosis and made it look like the doll on Pridia. We've got the play features from the original set and a few more. You'll have to watch the video tomorrow to see the play features. But yes, I have kept the play feature of Yoda jumping around. And I will say, this play feature is even better because of the way the walls are angled towards the back. And I have redesigned the back. I've kept the similar design of what the designers were going for the original set, but mixed it up with a few pieces that you won't find in the set. We can get Yoda jumping onto the walls and then bouncing off the floor, which you couldn't do in the original set. It was very well, I guess you could try to do, but I think Yoda, this play feature is so cool. I want to later on in the year, Revenge of the Sith, you know, it's Revenge of the Sith's anniversary, so there's not going to be too much from Attack of the Clones, but I'm never going to pass on an opportunity to, you know, build a little set from Attack of the Clones. It is my favourite movie, but what I really want to see later on in a, I guess, Palpatine's arrest, but not Palpatine's arrest with Palpatine faking his arrest, the actual Palpatine arrest, the I am the Senate. What I really want to see is Palpatine on this play feature. You give this Senate a lightsaber and have him just twirl towards the Jedi. He can wipe out, he could probably wipe out 8 minifigures, but we only need him to wipe out 4 minifigures in one swow, one foul swoosh, one foul just twirl with his lightsaber in hand. And I think this is going to be just attacking the Jedi. I think this is going to be a really fun play feature to include in that. So I do want to build a Mustafar diorama. Maybe I can make Palpatine's arrest into a diorama. The fun thing with dioramas is rather than just building a Lego model that is, you know, kind of spewing out in different places. We've got all these little builds. A diorama really crams that scene into the one package. Let me remove this. This is all you're getting for it for now. There is a video coming out tomorrow, and I will say, even if you're not interested in the video, all right, I would prefer if you watch the whole thing. But if you want to see something really, really good, skip to a few minutes before the end, because I bring back out the LED lightsabers. And I don't know where they've been. I'm definitely going to take a load more photos with the LED sabers over on Instagram. The LED lightsabers make it look so good. My only problem with the LED lightsabers is, if you remember the scene from Attack of the Clones, Anakin does pick up Kenobi's saber. So he has a green one and a blue one and fights Dooku while the lights are flickering. Beautiful scene. I only have 2 LED lightsabers, so I wasn't able to ignite the other lightsaber. I'm going to be looking out for that. But I have so much fun building these dioramas. Mustafar, we've got Utapau. I definitely want to do an Utapau one as well. Palpatine's arrest. Whether or not we get a Lego set, I want to do the Palpatine arrest with the Dooku B2 droids. I think trying to get the throne and the stairs would look quite good, because it's really the opposite of the second Death Star, where Palpatine's now on the lower level without the upper hand. In a way, the dioramas are quite concise. They are. They're nice. It gives you a plate. The thing I'm really exploring with now, though, after the Peridea duel diorama, is the bases not being square like the original dioramas. I do consider the duel on Peridea, it's probably up there behind the coast, I've probably squashed it. I do consider that a diorama, and I do quite like the not square base, because it allows you to a little bit more. Think Mustafar with the buildings, maybe the landing platforms. You can add different corners of it that don't take up too much space. But we now have Mando's N1 Starfighter, which, again, with both of these ships, I do have to say, I prefer these. Do I prefer these to the Tenoo Temple? Probably I prefer these to the Tenoo Temple. You can get all the minifigures in this ship. You can get all the minifigures in this ship. Lego are doing something right. These aren't terrible sets by any means. Terrible price for the Firehawk by far. Everyone can agree on that. We get a few printed pieces, and the back is a little disappointing, but given the base, at least it's not all just one piece. With Mando and Grogu keeps falling over, but we do get them both in the cockpit, and you can secure them down if you had another brick and a jumper tult for Grogu. The astromech, the arms do stick out. Maybe we don't even need to remove the arms. No, we definitely need to remove the arms to stick it in, but we do get all the 3 minifigures stuck in this ship, and it does look really cool. Am I disappointed I didn't pick up the one with Pelimoto? No, I have a Pelimoto behind me, and this ship is pretty cool. I feel like this captures the N1 as well. I don't know much about the Firehawk. I haven't seen it in Lego, and it's normally a blur, or we're seeing the interior for the show, which is why I'm so happy we fit RJ on the cockpit. But I think both of these ships are really, really sweet. The way that this set is better, or the way I think this is better than all of the others, is because we don't get any of the side builds. And I do think that does help, especially when it comes to the price of it. I think not getting those side builds does help a lot in the price and the parts per piece. We still get the same minifigures, and we got 3 minifigures actually on the box for all 3 of these sets. But we've got a £25 set in Mando's N1. So this one here, £25, pretty good. You add the pump to it, and that's a pretty good build. But the side builds don't really add up too much. So what we're really comparing, maybe the speeders for the Young Jedi Adventure sets, because we do see the speeders a fair few times, though they do mix and match in classic Star Wars style. Next up, for an extra tenner, we've got the Tenoo Temple. Is the Tenoo Temple worth an extra tenner? If that had been £25, like I said, great value for it. And we don't even need the side build with the falling rocks. Maybe we can take the play feature and add that somewhere. Maybe instead of this annoying plant pot, let's get rid of this and add the rocks. There we go. £25 playset. I think that's pretty cool. They could even throw in the droid to knock down the rocks as slightly as they can. And then another £25. I definitely feel like probably £30 better for this. It does feel like we're getting more than both the previous sets, but we are also getting 2 massive pieces. Maybe £25 is where that needs to be. I think that's a pretty sweet spot for it. I think all of these should be £25. I don't know why the Young Jedi Adventures, maybe Lego didn't think they'd sell, but by upping their price, I think they've doomed the sets to not sell. When I was in, I think it was a Sainsbury's here in the UK, I saw the Tenoo Temple for like £12 a piece. I so wanted to clear the shelf. And I know the next person coming along would have cleared those into a trolley. Definitely don't have the money to buy all of the sets that were there, but to pick up a couple of them, because Yoda is a really nice minifigure. And if we do end up seeing Liz, Nubs, Nash and Kai, pretty sure I'm nailing those names, that's the first time. If we see them pop up again in High Republic, maybe they'll be wanted figures. Maybe they'll be wanted if they pop up on screen somewhere. Maybe we get another Acolyte light show and they pop up in the background like the way the Rebels cast has been doing. But I think £25 is definitely the limit for these. I don't see these. I think they would have sold very, very well if they were £25, to be fair. I don't think this is something that, all of this, if the whole set come out for £25, I think this is probably selling out with characters like Nubs that I think Nubs is wanted just as much as a High Republic Yoda. Even after the Acolyte, I think yeah, Nubs is definitely a fan favourite. But I'm happy we built this N1. This is a really neat build. And if you do own the set, I can see this being a fun build, not just now, but even breaking this down, rebuilding this for a little mock. Because this is not minifigure scale, all right? This is probably about a quarter of minifigure scale if we were to measure it up. The Naboo N1s are pretty big. They're about X-Wing size. If you own the new Arc 170, they're probably not far off the size of that, maybe a little bigger. But this would work really cool with a little Tatooine hangar for a mock, getting the 4+ set. You're also including a Lego set, which I think is something that a lot of us mock builders forget about. We can grab a Lego set and include that as part of our mock. Rather than trying to build everything from scratch, sometimes it's easier to have some help from Lego or maybe some other mock builders. I'm sure someone's reworked this on Rebrickable, but I'm tempted to end up doing a video on these, and I weren't going to, but there is just so much packed into this stream. Again, we will check if there are any new leaks before we wrap up. Let's have a little refresh. No, it doesn't seem like anything's loaded in, so I think that's all for today's stream. Thank you so much for hanging out with me as we built not 1, not 2, but 3 4+ Lego sets. I'm going to have to update the thumbnail to include this guy, but I do think if I didn't have this droid, which was actually gifted by my brother with the 2012 X-Wing, if I didn't have this droid, I would definitely pick up this set. So if you're thinking about it for the minifigures, I say go for it. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you have any mocks, I hope they go smoothly. Don't forget, we will be streaming on Friday as well. First charity stream on the channel. Hopefully it goes well. I have a feeling we'll be streaming a bit longer. A lot to build for that mock. We're going big or we're going home. And since we're already home, we're going big. But that is all for today. And may the bricks be with you always.